Welcome to episode 4 of Raise the Floor. We've got Naomi Timperley with us today. And on the way in, I'm trying to think, how do I start it? Because you've got such a varied and long career. So rather than me give a crap version of where you've been and what you do you want to give us a bit of an explanation and your background of your career so far?
Yeah, so probably a lot of the stuff that I did pre what I do now, it isn't on LinkedIn or anything. So my first career was in the travel sector when I was living down south. I worked as a travel agent for 3 years. Then I worked for a tour operator in London for 2 years. Then I worked overseas for that tour operator. Whilst I was working overseas, my mum moved up north.
Right.
And I used to come home in between seasons. And then when I eventually decided I didn't want to go live abroad anymore, I got a job in tech recruitment. And by this time I'd met my now husband and worked for Rulion Computer Personnel for 3 years. Did contract in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then left there and helped set up a Manchester arm of a travel recruitment company. Then I took 4 years out to have my 2 daughters, which I was very lucky to be able to do. And then one day, whilst I was researching party ideas for my eldest, who was about 3 or 4, I came across an American website called Babylove UK. And I was like, oh my God, I've not been out for ages.
How can I mix this, being a parent, we're going out?
Yeah. So I emailed them and I said, look, I told them a little bit about myself. And they said, we have thought about bringing it to the UK. Somebody did actually just straight copy what we did and it didn't work.
Right.
But, if you'd be prepared to take the brand over to the UK. And I was like, yeah. I said, I'm not going to give you any money.
Yeah.
But I'll put blood, sweat and tears into it. And I did. That was in 2007. So I first contacted them in January. We launched in September. Before we'd even launched, we had a 2-page spread in the Saturday Times knowledge supplement.
Right.
So the Times.
Yeah.
And it just sort of snowballed from there. So within 2 years, we were in 9 cities across the UK. We had a TV advertised album with Universal. I did Dragon's Den in 2008, got offered investment, turned it down, all the usual things. And then I started getting involved with women's entrepreneurship and youth entrepreneurship, initially through University of Salford and a couple of other things. And I came away from the events business after 4 years, sold my shares to our Scottish host mum, who was still running it up until 2022. And I set up a youth enterprise employability company called Enterprise Lab to bridge the gap between education, employment, and enterprise with 2 guys that I'd randomly met on Twitter.
So business up with some people you want to.
And it was really good. We worked nationally and internationally, worked with the public and private sector. But I came away from that after about 2 years because one of the business partners had dropped off and then the other one had started getting involved with the startup loans and I was not a fan of them.
Yeah.
So sort of worked on my own since then, got involved with a few things. What I currently do is I work 1 day a week for Oxford Innovation in Stockport. I'm Innovation Director at Mersey Innovation Centre. So my role there is to support the businesses in the centre to start, grow and innovate. And I can do that directly with me or signpost them to other people that can help them. I also work with the Turing Innovation Catalyst, so doing ecosystem engagement, created a programme with a guy called James Ackrid called AI Empower, and then also been working with their startup and scale-up programmes. So we've just currently launched the AI scale-up programme, which is for AI first businesses. What else do I do? Also working with a brilliant company called Boardman, who have a network of fractional CTOs. So working with them on partnerships and engagement. And the most exciting thing is we are launching, I'll tell you who those we are, something called Endgame, which is myself, Dr. Vikash Shah, MBE, Giles Harridge, James Ackrig, who's ex-Microsoft, and a guy called Nick Richardson from the Insights Group. And it's come about because we're always sort of talking to businesses that are at different points of the business. But it's usually the question is what's your end game?
Yeah.
Do you want to sell? Do you want
Yeah.
is it going to be a legacy business? Is it a lifestyle business? Do you want to grow it and whatever? We've got a couple of clients already, and we're officially launching that at the end of this month.
And what does that entail?
We will work with the businesses. It might be that we take equity within the business,
Right.
or it might be that they pay us a fee, and we'll work within the business to achieve what they want to achieve. It might be on a project by project basis, but essentially we sort of become a team within their team.
Like a group of consultants who help them achieve their
but for
end game.
people that have been there, seen it, got the T-shirt, scale businesses, sold businesses, and then you've got a technologist who's just utterly brilliant. He used to be head of technology for partners at Microsoft, and then you've got me, who's a bit of a wild card. Even though I did sold my shares in a business for a very small amount of money, I suppose I have.
Yeah, you have exited.
Yeah, I have exited. Yeah. But I have worked with thousands of startups and scale-ups.
Yeah, that was something that was when I was doing research, like literally thousands of mentorships and startups. Yeah. What's been what interests you about that? What's the pull towards that?
I think it's the variety. So I've been involved in lots of different programs. I've written and designed and developed and delivered programs, but also, gone in and worked with them. I think just seeing the difference that it makes in people. Most founders, it's a lack of confidence. So it's great to be able to, help build their confidence up and get them to believe in what they're actually doing. That does make a massive difference. But I think the variety. I found out last year I've got ADHD, so it makes sense that I do all these different things.
Well, I was going to say that. So you wear a lot of hats. Is that how do you manage that? Pretty difficult.
Yeah, I get asked this quite a lot. So it's a bit like a bento box.
Right.
So I've got a little bit of time for this and a bit of time for that, and certain things I've got more time for. I sit on a couple of boards and things like that as well. Things that are of interest to me, so usually around sort of digital skills and things like that, and young people. But yeah, it's I'm able to do it because I can compartmentalize that word. You know what I mean?
Compartmentalize.
Yeah. Bento box wise.
Yeah, bento box wise. Yeah.
I can do that, and it works.
And that's kind of plays to your strengths then.
It does, but also as well, I can sort of do things whilst I'm working with others, because a lot of the clients that I've got kind of squish into different parts of the same thing.
Yeah.
So that also makes it easier as well.
Just on what made you get the diagnosis of ADHD?
So my sister and her daughter had got the diagnosis, and I always knew that my brain worked in quite a strange way. And I just started, looking into it more and more. Like I've got 752 videos in my TikTok collection, which is really sad. I just looked at it more and more, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is me.
Yeah.
That is me. So I went private.
Yeah.
It's the highest score I've got of anything. I got 99%.
Right. Great achievement.
Yeah. I don't want to go down the medicine route or anything like that, but I just wanted to understand how my brain works, and actually it has made a huge difference.
Is that, I was going to say, is that diagnosis help you understand it?
Yeah, it has. It's made me understand why I get so emotional about things. It's made me understand why I'm good at the things that I do.
Yeah.
So there's lots of really positive things. I try and see the positives out of everything, but it also made me understand about how I can get taken advantage of,
right?
With my good nature, how I get really emotional about things.
It's like certain
topics. Everything.
Oh, right, okay.
Everything, and it just I read into everything as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
Would you so people who, I think because it's become more prevalent, sort of the diagnosis of it, do you think everyone, well not everyone, but people who feel like you did should get the diagnosis?
I think what's interesting is women are very good at masking it. So quite frankly, I've lived with it I'm 54 now.
Yeah.
I've lived with it for a long time. And I think for me, like there are, like I'm impatient, so I was like, I'm just going to pay for it and do it. There's this thing called Right to Choose, so you can go through the NHS, but also that they'll pay for a private thing, so you can do it quicker. More and more women of my age are coming of sort of their masks as they go through perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah.
The masks are going that they've had to, I kind of, be a normal person, so to speak. And I think more and more women are getting diagnosed at my age, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would thoroughly recommend it.
Have you changed anything, like how you do things since?
Yeah, I've had to. Yeah, because I have to have a word with myself, especially around the emotional thing, because I do I'm so sensitive about everything. Like people, see me and think I'm this gregarious, confident person, but I'm so not.
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I just want to go to bed and I'm exhausted all the time. That's another thing as well. I'm literally exhausted because my brain does not stop.
Yeah.
And then when I am, again, going back to that bento box, I am able to do all the things. I work really quickly and I work really smart. And again, that's exhausting.
Yeah. And when you're on holiday, do you turn off or no?
I try to. I don't take my laptop anymore, but everything's on my phone, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I'm also one of those people that can't relax when I'm having a massage.
Yeah.
Or anything. I'm like, I just feel awkward.
Yeah. About sunbathing? No.
Oh, yeah, I can sunbathe. But to be fair, I just read books.
Yeah.
Like, if I go on holiday, I'm in the pool and I'll read a book. And I just read about 5 books, and that's my guilty pleasure. Yeah,
because I struggle being on holiday. Something that my wife tells me.
Yeah, I just read. I know it's something just read. And do you know what? Where we found this gorgeous place called Calcad, and my friend Fiona will kill me for telling everybody about it because it's like it's been a little secret for the last 25 years until me and Max turned up and we told everyone. We've been about 9 times since 2022, and it's the most beautiful place. And we go to this hotel called the Oasis, and I stand in the pool at the bottom, obviously near the bar bit. Yeah. As soon as it gets to about 11:30, it's like, "Can I have an FS, please?" And it just continues from there whilst I'm happily reading my book.
Yeah.
Books.
In the pool.
Yeah.
The book.
Yeah, because you get a tan.
That's a big risk.
No, it's not, because I'm quite tall, so it's not like a really deep pool. You can stand tiptoe.
Yeah, at the
and
bar.
then I'll just,
nice.
I can move my legs around, do a bit of exercise.
Amazing. And I know a lot of work you do is around like youth entrepreneurship. Right, before we get to that, talk to me about the word entrepreneurship.
I don't particularly like it.
No, I think
it's
bullshit.
A bit wanky. It's a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, you're just doing stuff. You get shit done.
Yeah.
My husband's always worked for himself up until he used to be a joiner, but he fell off quite a few buildings. Those concrete joiner type things. So he fell off quite a few buildings, including jumping out of a bedroom when he thought he was Superman. Right. The window, unfortunately, was open. So he started working with his mum, who had a cleaning business in the 80s, and has just worked for himself, for a very, very long time. I suppose where entrepreneurship comes in, I think if you think about entrepreneurship traits. Yeah. So rather than saying someone's an entrepreneur, I would say people have traits of entrepreneurship. Yeah. And I would say definitely, I never thought I was until I started working for myself. Yeah. And I absolutely love it. I think I would, I work one day a week for an organisation. I wouldn't do any more than a day a week.
Yeah, because I
like doing the other stuff.
Yeah, and I actually don't mind, like you said, calling entrepreneurship traits. I just think it's abhorrent when people call themselves an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would never call myself an entrepreneur. Other people have said it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it just feels like you're putting yourself on a bit of a pedestal. Yeah. But I've heard you talk about teaching entrepreneurship in education. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit by why that's so important.
I think it's really important. So I've always done a lot to give back. So I was an enterprise advisor for the Careers and Enterprise Company for about 4 years. I was also used to be involved with National Careers Week. I sit on a couple of boards around young people and skills. For me, I think it's really important because the skills that you understand and learn are life skills as well as entrepreneurship skills. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. One of the schools that I was like an enterprise advisor for, I said, look, I want to test something, because a lot of the schools, they cannot go off topic or curriculum because of these awful exams that kids have to do. And not everyone's good at exams. I was rubbish at exams. And to be fair, I was not great at school. I remember being really quite smart at junior school. As soon as I went to big school, I just fell off a cliff, and I was just social bunny. Yeah. And if you look at all of my school reports, they all say the same thing. Needs to concentrate more, all these other things. It's like, okay, no shit, Sherlock.
ADHD.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know that. But yeah, I don't learn in a traditional way.
Yeah.
So
but how many people do?
Well, I don't think many people do. I think, but I know loads of people that have got ADHD that have got degrees and all these other things. I've got a friend who's got a number of different things. She's dyslexic, dyspraxic. She's got 2 PhDs.
Wow.
But going back to this test thing that I did at this school, I said, look, let's pick a subject. So they picked design and technology. And I said, as part of the work that I did with them, I said, I want you to get 100 parent volunteers to donate 1 hour of their time for careers during the year. And they got them very easy. It was a school in Sale. It was a grammar school, and lots of the parents were quite supportive in that way. So they got 100 thingies. And I said, look, with those parents, I want you to go out to that audience and ask them if any of them have got any challenges that they could give students. And one of them came up with a challenge, and it was a design challenge, because it was design and technology. And they wanted to design some new kind of, it was either makeup bags or something like that. I can't remember. And they gave the students the project, but it wasn't just designing the product. It was like how they were going to market it, how they were going to sell it, how they were going to do the graphic design around it, all of those different things. And the kids absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
they absolutely loved it because it got them to think in a different way. And I've gone in and because I'm design sprint trained. I did the training with AJ and Smart. And I've gone in as a parent volunteer to my kids' school, and done design sprints with the kids in like an hour and a half, and just said, look, I'm going to give you a problem. I want you to come up with some solutions. And this is how I want you to present the solutions. And they've got to think really, really quickly. I give them the methodology of how to do that.
Yeah.
But they absolutely, again, love it, because in school, they're made to think in a certain way.
Yeah,
and creativity gets beaten out of us.
Yeah, and I think because of something like my wife's an English teacher, so kind of she got a lot of opinions on this, rightfully so. And I think that there's so much pressure's put on them to lift the Progress 8 score or get results. Like they've got no bandwidth to be able to come up with these ideas or bring people in. Like as someone who's got their own business, I'd love to go on schools or colleges. There's no opportunity for me to do that.
Do you know what? There are loads of opportunities. It's just about being able to be signposted to the right place. So if you got in touch with careers and enterprise people, they snap your hand off.
Right.
And they tie you up with a school in your local area. But there's loads of other organisations that do that. There's one called Speakers for Schools, and there's another couple of other ones that you can connect with, but they don't make it easy.
Yeah.
They really don't. And the colleges and universities are the same. There's no obvious front door for you to be able to engage with students.
Yeah, and I think that it'd help people within our organisation, and it's like a mutually beneficial relationship, because I think the kids are really benefit, or young people, and then also the businesses would. Like, I know in our business, we're quite a young business, and something that people struggle with at first, but we do a lot of, is like public speaking.
Yeah.
And being able to do that in front of young people, I think, would be a great way to practice.
Absolutely. But also you've got things like the Sharp Project. They have brilliant students, creative students that can do film, graphic design, social media, loads of different things. They have something called Pod. So if you had like quite a small budget for a campaign, an advertising campaign or something like that, you could get in touch with Sharp. Everyone they obviously get charged.
Yeah.
But it would be a lot less than it would be if you were going to an agency.
Yeah.
But it gives the young people experience. And they work with they work with like Channel 4, they work with ITV, they work with the BBC.
Wow. It's just, we, as a small business owner in Salford, you don't see where these things are happening. It's something that...
University of Salford would snap your hand off.
Would they? Right. That's my next call then.
Yeah, I can put you in touch with people.
Yeah, that'd be great. So something that, going back to the public speaking, it's something that you've done a lot of, something you on panels, you present, a host. How do people, it's something that a lot of people struggle with, like what are some of the ways you think people can improve at that or start?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I with all my other jobs, I'd never had to do, well, to be fair though, I kind of did. I'm thinking about it now because when I did the travel thing, when I worked abroad, we used to have to do airport duty. So you've got to like talk on the coach and that type of stuff. And then we used to do these reps cabarets.
Amazing.
I used to get really pissed to be able to do it. It was awful. So it was like I had to dance and I've got so uncoordinated and then have to do ad lib and stuff like that. It was great. Everyone loved it and I was funny as anything. But I hated it. So that was one thing. And then when I worked in tech recruitment, they sent me on a Dale Carnegie course.
Right.
At the time I was like, ugh. But actually...
You don't want to influence anyone.
No, but do you know what? There's a brilliant book. It's all common sense. But actually, I had to sort of do some speaking in that. But going back to like me sort of falling into it was only after sort of did Dragon's Den that I started doing more public speaking. And I used to be absolutely terrified. And the first time I actually spoke, it was at, I think City had just moved into their new ground. And I think so. And yeah, I spoke in front of like about 600 people. And I absolutely shit my pants.
Yeah.
Not physically, but nearly. And I just did it and I just told my story. And that's the methodology that I've used the whole time is I know, obviously I know how to do the timing and things like that now, but I will only talk about what I know about.
Yeah.
If I'm hosting something, I'm hosting an event which is related to what I know about. So I know how to play the audience and whatever. I would never be able to speak about something that I didn't know about. And I did a TEDx talk when in 2016 with my daughter, who was 11 at the time in America. And that came through a connection that I had at the University of Illinois and a guy who teaches entrepreneurship, actually, who called Doan Winkle, which is quite an unfortunate name because I used to call my vagina Winkle when I was a kid. You might need to cut that bit out. And it's a true story. He'd seen, because I posted on LinkedIn and Facebook about speaking things that I'd done, and he at the time, my daughter was obsessed with TED Talks when she was about 10. She used to watch them all the time, and she did this really cute video pretending to do a TED Talk.
Amazing.
And she had this little hat on, and she'd recorded herself, and she was basically talking about if we didn't look after the planet, we were just going to all die. She's probably got a point.
Yeah.
And
ahead of a time.
Yeah, and Doan contacted me straight after the first TEDx Normal, which was based in a town called Normal, which is where Illinois State University is. And he said, I'd love you to come over. And I said, I would love to come over. I said, but actually my daughter would love to come and do
what a dream that is
for
her if she's into it.
So I said, I didn't tell her. I said, I sent him, I said, can I send you a video? And I said, I think we could do a talk together. And he watched it and came back to me and said, yeah. So I went upstairs and I said to Elizabeth, would you actually like to do a real life TED talk?
Oh, my God.
And she was like, yeah. And we did.
Amazing.
And do you know what? It was absolutely incredible. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
I shit myself.
Yeah.
Again. It was terrifying. What was terrifying about it is because you had to do a talk between 7 and 13 minutes. I think ours was like 8 minutes, but you have to tell them exactly. You have to send them the script beforehand.
Right.
So I'm not very good at sticking to scripts.
Yeah.
Unless I'm hosting something and I've got it on an iPad.
Yeah, you're reading it.
Obviously, I allowed Elizabeth to have an iPad because she was like 11. But I just had to remember everything, and it was just like,
Was that loads of practice then, or?
No.
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 A bit of winging it.
Yeah. We totally wung it though.
Yeah.
And it passed the TED because it doesn't get put on TED's. It doesn't get approved. TED have to approve it.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So when you do the talk, they've got loads of different protocols. You can never be selling anything or anything like that. And the people that did the talk when we did ours were just utterly brilliant. So we flew over like a couple of days before, spent a couple of days afterwards, and also went to Chicago. But you know, Elizabeth got to meet everybody. She is my daughter. Literally, she can network like
a room.
She was working the room,
Amazing.
talking to everybody, and then afterwards she was just like doing it again. I was like so proud of her.
Yeah, I'm just picturing my daughter Pippa. She like to make a life. I think.
Yeah, she was just honestly. It's amazing what kids can do.
While you were doing the talk, this might seem like what were you feeling while you're doing it, and seeing when you're watching your daughter do it and when you're on stage? Is that? Do you remember?
I was really nervous, but then I just was thinking, oh my God, this young child is just smashing it.
Yeah.
And she was. Yeah. She had like a little Madonna mic on and everything. Yeah. She's so cute.
Amazing.
And then after we'd done all the talks, and it was live as well.
Right.
So obviously we had an audience, and it was in this beautiful Art Deco cinema. And yeah, but it was out live as well. So I was like, oh my God, all these people can see this. And I was like, it was like live 360. And I was thinking, oh my God, I bet my arse looks massive.
Yeah, well. Yeah. And was that a similar feeling when you did Dragon's Den? Like, was it
So I'd done Dragon's Den obviously before then. I
did
Dragon's Den in 2008. So I did that with my American business partner, and we'd practice via Skype because Skype was all the rage.
Yeah.
And when we actually, he came to the UK literally the night before.
Right.
So I went to, it was when they used to record it at Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
Where they do like lots of films and stuff. Yeah. And they all put us people up in the same hotel, and it was funny because at breakfast it was like, what if they're doing it? What if they're doing it? And whatever. And yeah, we practiced that night. And I remember when we turned up to Pinewood Studios, they come and picked us all up. And you go to the studios, and there was loads of like Anthony Hopkins was filming this film called The Wolves. There's all these people like dressed up as wolves. They go into hair and makeup, and then everyone's assigned an assistant producer. And I remember ours was like, oh, do you want to talk through your pitch? And you could just see him rolling his eyes.
Really?
But do you know what? We smashed it. We got offered investment, turned it down. So
did you know? Did you want investment going in, or was it kind of like
we didn't apply to do the show?
Right.
They came to us. We were going to ask for 250k, and a week before we were going on, they said ask for 100.
Right.
We didn't need the money.
Yeah.
We didn't need the money. You know, we were doing cool things then anyway. And we'd already said, look, we're only going to go to 20% max. Deborah wanted 40%, and it would have made us minority shareholders, so it just wasn't worth it.
And is it kind of as it's in real time, or do you actually get time to think about it? And
you do get it. We were in there for 45 minutes.
Right.
No, an hour and 45 minutes. It's an hour and 45 minutes, and it was. You got some of the dragons that play to it,
yeah,
especially the Scottish one. He was vile.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Andy had remembered the numbers. Obviously, I'd looked at the numbers. I'm not very good with numbers.
Yeah.
I think I've got that dyscalculia thing or whatever it is. And they're saying that I did used to work in a fish and chip shop and we didn't have a till, so I'm not that bad.
How much is fish and chips? £1.20.
Yeah. No, it was like way cheaper then. Yeah. He when the Scottish guy said, "Oh, right, talk me through the numbers, Naomi," and I was like, "Oh, Andy's gonna," he said, "I'm asking you."
Right.
So I had to and you've got you're not allowed to
see anything.
It's not like a normal. It's not a normal situation.
Yeah,
a normal situation, you'd have it in front of you. You're not expected to remember everything. They expect you to remember everything.
Yeah, it's sort of for the drama, isn't it, I suppose.
It is the drama. But you know what? It's like, it is what it is. It's a good experience. I just pretended that they were all naked.
Right.
And after 5 minutes, I was like, you just ignore the cameras.
Yeah.
And when they edit it, when we sort of said, "Oh, can we have some room to talk at the back of the den?"
Yeah.
I said to Andy, "Right, who's going to tell her?" And he was like, "You can tell her." He said, "Please, Naomi." They made that sound like he was saying, "Please, Naomi, say that say yes." And so they edit it. But they did two follow-up shows on us.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Deborah came up to Manchester and we were doing a Baby Loves Bollywood thing. She came to that, and then we did another follow-up programme, and we were at a venue that was right at the end of Deansgate, and I think there's loads of buildings there now.
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And did you, like, that experience, what did that teach you? Did that kind of put you on a new career path following that, or was that kind of where you were heading anyway? Or
no, I think that's how I got involved with the youth entrepreneurship and the women's entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I started getting asked to speak about it. People wanted to hear the story. So it did make a massive difference, yeah. Yeah,
because I think that, like, me doing this is kind of, I've had to step out of my comfort zone to do it, but how important is that to do? Because it feels like I'm still not dead comfortable with doing it, but like...
I'll be honest with you, I'm not dead comfortable doing it. I've done quite a lot of podcasts as a guest. I still feel uncomfortable. But what I would say is I think I force myself to get out of my comfort zone every day of the week. Whether that's like, even picking up the phone to somebody or sending somebody an email or whatever. But also... very early on in my career, I said yes to lots of things. I now have the privilege to say no.
Yeah.
But I think it's important if you're sort of building your craft and you're building your personal brand and all these other things, you do have to do you have to say yes a lot. And I think it's good to do that.
Why is that? Why is it important, that, do you think?
I think you can build up your creds deck, so to speak, your credibility. I think it's important to give back. I think it's important to learn from other people. So for me, I know 60-70% of the opportunities that I have had wouldn't have happened if I hadn't pushed myself out of my comfort zone. Yeah,
because I think that's you only grow as a person or your business if you're prepared to do those things that are difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're going to regret in the future if you don't do them. Look back and think I had an opportunity to just do it and see where it goes to.
Absolutely.
So moving on, it's completely left field.
Yeah.
I watched your Panorama documentary last night, and so that's obviously something that's been a major challenge in your life.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about the story behind that?
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't watched Panorama, you can watch it on iPlayer. It's called My Online Stalker, and it tells the real life story of myself, a guy called Brad Burton, and a woman called Justine Wright. So I knew Brad a long time ago. I hadn't spoken to him for about 8 years until this all kicked off. But essentially, we've all been stalked by the same person.
Right.
And there are other victims. Myself and Brad are the ones that went to the police. Brad initially in June of 2022, and this all started for him in 2021-20. For me, it started in 2021. The person is, do you know, I don't even want to say her name. You can have a look at Panorama, but she's a very sad individual. And she's basically was somebody that I was connected to, but haven't been connected to for a long time. And she just basically went after us and across every single platform you can think of, said the most vile things. Her narrative has been that we're stalking her. It's very strange. She even did a true crime podcast as a victim, and the person that had a podcast, who was doing the podcast, did no due diligence at all.
To find out where.
No. And so especially as somebody who has got ADHD and is very sensitive, having somebody rip you apart online for years, and it actually got worse after we went to the police.
Really?
Yeah. So she got charged with 5 offences eventually, and she broke bail 5 times. She's due for sentencing. It was supposed to have been sentenced this year in January. It's been delayed several times. We've got another date of October now. Another victim has come forward who actually did go to the police, which was never highlighted to us. And apparently she has a restraining order against her. So yeah, it's been very, very disturbing, very scary, and I have been a gibbering wreck.
Yeah, but like, how have you got on with your life while that's been going on?
I'm kind of numb to it. Antidepressants and propanol help. So I was having like panic attacks.
Right.
It's been really hard, and do you know what's been really hard is that I've never been able to say anything until obviously the Panorama thing came out. You can't ever respond to somebody who's doing that because it just feeds them. And nobody else has really responded because they're all absolutely petrified of her, because they all think and she has gone for lots of people that I know. So it's been utterly terrifying.
Yeah, I'm just interested, like, how do you carry on? Like, how do you
I just had
not
to,
find that to
I
derail
found it
you?
very, very difficult, but I just had to pull up my big girl pants and get on with it, because otherwise I'd just be at home curled up in a ball. I just had to get on with it. I've got a family, I've got a mortgage. I just had to get on with it, and it's been incredibly hard, really, really hard. I suppose what's been good is that I've now got people that I can talk to who have been through it themselves. But yeah, it's been the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, I bet.
And the fact that Panorama did a documentary about it, Channel 4 are doing one as well.
Right.
That comes out, I think, in November. But it's been utterly terrifying.
And is it something that happens more than people are aware of, or?
Yep, it does. The police don't really understand it. The CPS don't really understand it. The other victim who came forward recently, it happened to her 13 years ago.
Right.
So this person, the stalker, has got previous. But in her world, in her mind, she is the victim.
Yeah, that's...
But you can just look at the evidence. It's just like tons of it. Absolutely tons of it. And we had to, record all of that to get a case to the police.
And assuming, like, because a lot of your work is not from social media and LinkedIn, but it's a massive part of it.
So
how has that affected your business?
It must have definitely affected my business. So to be fair, Instagram's private to me. It's always been private, as is Facebook. Twitter, I barely go on it because it's now X, and I don't like what's his face, and I will be deleting that account as soon as court and everything's done. Twitter will be gone, and I had 33,000 people on there. LinkedIn, some of the posts that she did on LinkedIn were thousands and thousands and thousands of words long, and they didn't do anything. Even though it was reported, the social media platforms have got, I want to say, blood on their hands. They've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing.
They've responded at all, or just not the...
No, not really. They've, I think the Channel 4, they've had some response. But yeah, and I think Panorama did as well, but nothing
of any note.
No, nothing of any note, and nothing that's protected us. And you know, this person's still very, very active, just happily getting on with her life while everyone else's has been destroyed. You know, I know that at least 3 people, including myself, have had the suicidal thoughts because it got that bad. You know, you just think, why? I don't want to be here anymore. I can't cope with this. And that's not nice to feel like that. So yeah, it's been incredibly, incredibly difficult. I just want to draw a line under it when I can.
Yeah.
And then I will get some kind of therapy. But I'm also gonna do as much as I can to protect other victims. So any campaigning I can do, I will be doing it.
Yeah. And what have you got any advice for anyone who's kind of going through those challenges or something similar?
So I actually did a talk for Trafford Police,
right?
For their domestic violence team, who also are coming across these type of things quite a lot. So it was CID there, police officers, back office, front office people. And I did a talk about my experience and showed them some things. But what I did say is, you know, if you are reporting it, make sure that you collect all your evidence. You know, I had to do it through other channels because I'd blocked her. Same with Brad. Collect all the evidence. Understand the law. I've learned a lot about this side of things, and be prepared to have to wait a very long time. We went to the police. I went to the police in August of 2022. It's now September of 2025. Brad went in June 2022, and as a male victim, he's been treated differently because she was a woman. Yeah, because she was a woman. He also, as well, I would say that. And Brad would confirm this. I'm like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
I am incredibly tenacious. So I got my local MP involved. I got the Chief Superintendent of Stockport Police involved. We had to push and push and push. And we are still having to do that now. So I've contacted the police again. I've contacted the CPS to make sure that actually sentencing happens. And all the reports they're saying that have taken so months and months and months actually happen, but also they take into consideration this other crime that was not acknowledged.
It just seems like you've had another job for that a period of time.
Honestly, absolutely, it's been like another little job, and if you're not on it, you know, it's like any sort of criminal activity. You have to be tenacious. You have to be patient, because the law system I think, is kind of broken.
Yeah,
it's kind of broken.
And what is there any lessons that you've learned from the process, or that you can take out of it?
I suppose, you know, the gathering of the evidence and just being meticulous about everything and being tenacious. I'm like, I don't know where I get my energy from. It's my ADHD.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think that has been my superpower. It really has.
And do you think that going through this ordeal has taught you that about yourself, or did you know that anyway?
I knew it anyway.
Yeah. Your superpower came to...
Yeah, the superpower came to light, but it has been very, very difficult. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah. I'm struggling to, kind of put myself in those shoes, because I don't know what... You're powerless, aren't you, in some respects?
Completely powerless, but when you've had it for years and years, and then when you've had it and somebody's been charged with 5 offences and they keep doing it, and they keep breaking bail, so you've got to keep reporting them, and then they get more charges. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But again, you know, she's still playing the victim even now.
It's the unfathomable, I guess.
Yeah,
like, I don't...
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But I guess it's how slow the law works, and that's a process on its own. And
Yeah.
I'm sure many victims of these type of crimes would...
But I think also as well, just to sort of give you a bit of context here, I think if, you know, when we first court date was, we were told it was Stockport Magistrates. Brad got the train up to Somerset. I'd come up from Manchester. You can imagine the anxiety that you would feel. I've never been to court before, right? We turn up at court. We're in so we go in, and we're then told an hour later that the date had changed, and the victim had been told, but we hadn't. So then it was brought to Manchester Magistrates Court. When I was told about it being brought to Manchester Magistrates Court, I got an email from from GMP Witness Care calling me Samantha. And it was then at Manchester Magistrates Court. That's when they, you know, she pleaded guilty, and then it was then the judge said there's absolutely no way that I can sentence this because it's above what we can do for a magistrates court. So then it was moved to Crown Court. But again, crazy. However many times I've gone to court, every single time, or you know, attempted to go because twice it's been cancelled literally last minute. The saving grace for me, and this will make you laugh, is every time we go to court, apart from the first one, afterwards, even when it doesn't happen. So we were supposed to be in court on the 28th of August. I think it was 28th, 27th, 28th, can't remember. And we always go to the Millstone and do karaoke.
Brilliant. What's your song?
Oh, it changes all the time. Yeah. I did Club Tropicana, and I did both sides now, which is very emotional. But you know what? It was so lovely because all my friends turned up, and we did karaoke, and that's like we call it courtioke now.
Courtioke.
So on the 24th,
cathartic experience for you.
So on the 24th of October, by hook or by crook, whether we're in court or not, we will be in the Millstone.
And what are you singing this time? Do we know yet? Or is it on the day type of thing?
Do you know what? I think it's on the day. Because I used to sing when I worked in Bulgaria, when I did the winter seasons, I used to do a bit of karaoke comparing.
Yeah.
And my song was what was it? Love Shack. But some of my buddies now think I've got a really bad voice singing Love Shack. So I've sung other songs and they've been more complimentary about it.
Right, so you're going to have to go with the audience.
So you've got to go with the audience. Yeah, the Millstone is just an absolutely brilliant place.
How important is it to keep some humour in when you're going through a shit time?
You have to. Honestly, if I didn't have a sense of humour, and this is about anything and everything, you just...
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah, you have to. I think even in business.
Yeah, I think if you can't laugh at the worst times, then you're going to struggle.
Absolutely. Laughter's kept me in good stead.
Yeah, good. And because you're heavily involved in tech, and that's a lot of your background. What responsibility do you think needs to change from the tech companies that are kind of allowing this to happen, or?
I think just to give you a bit of an example here. So if I was a breastfeeding mother and I posted a picture of me breastfeeding on Instagram, they would remove it probably.
Yeah.
Because it would go against their guidelines. This woman has put pictures of me with untruths, and we've got evidence about police stuff, and they still didn't remove them. And people complaining on numerous things, you know. She has now deleted some of these posts, right? But everything leaves a digital footprint.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable that none of them have really done anything. And I don't think that they protect victims of this type of crime.
Yeah, and especially for young people, like growing up with these are like a centre part of their lives, I guess. Like what needs to change with do you think?
I think if I was a teenager having gone through that, I wouldn't have been able to cope. I am so glad that it was not around when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, my daughters are 20 and 22 now, so they've sort of lived through that. They are digital. They've been born digital. When I was a kid, you had to pick up the phone, or if you're going to arrange to meet somebody, it was like, right, I'll see you at the park at 5. You weren't going to like check them or take a selfie on the way or anything that. It's that there needs to be more to protect people, and I don't know what they can do.
Yeah.
I don't know what else they can do apart from doing better.
Yeah.
They need to do better.
Yeah, 100%. I think because they've got a responsibility, and I see that being abdicated at the minute with like so many things like this that have happened, and they kind of sit behind a bit of security from I don't know what. I don't know how they get away with it.
No, I don't. Certainly never done anything to protect us.
No. I find it like when I asked you on as a guest, like I didn't even know you had this whole other story that was so important, like to share. I think because dealing with challenges in away from work are really difficult. Like I've not been through many in whilst I've had a business, but they just completely derail you. And
it's things that affect your work as well. Because I remember when I got the job at Stockport, the guy who's my line manager, he said to me, it's come to Stockport Council's attention that you've got this people saying things about you. Is there anything in it? And I had to send him evidence of the police stuff. It's like, I shouldn't have to do that.
You shouldn't have to explain yourself when
But
you're a victim.
But I did. I had to.
Yeah, I don't know. People need to do better, don't they?
Yeah.
Amazing stuff, really. To see like how well you've coped, although you said it's not been easy, but to see you still laughing and smiling on the other side of it, it's like, yeah.
I've shed too many tears.
Yeah, unbelievable. And what's next? What's next for you in your next part of your career? What's exciting?
Launching Endgame, which is very exciting, and just I love working with the Turing Innovation Catalyst, which is all around sort of AI first businesses. So yeah, just doing more of that. But Endgame's exciting.
You said about just one more thing on what you've done in your career and what you still do about giving back.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to you?
I'll tell you why. So there's a number of people that helped me when I first started, but there's lots of people that didn't. And I always think, do you know what? I don't want to be like those people that didn't. It's like I want to be that person. And obviously we've all got time constraints, but, I will do anything to help anyone. And I'm just known for it. And you know what? It comes back tenfold. It comes back. It always comes back.
Yeah.
Always come back in a positive way.
Yeah, 100%. I think
you learn from it as well.
Yeah, it helps you much as much as the person you're helping. 100%. And we kind of, this is not by design, but at the end of every podcast, I've kind of asked everyone what is your advice for people who want to raise the floor, who want to confront those hard things to do? Like, what would you say some of the pointers are you can give people to
hold the ladder up for others? Be a mentor or get a mentor. And I would always say, smile. Just be a decent human being. Don't be an arsehole. Be kind.
Solid advice.
Yeah.
Just on the mentorship, I see it loads in business world. Like, get yourself a mentor. How do you do that? I've never had one. So
do you know what? Just ask.
Yeah.
They can only say no.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, it's a mentor's somebody who's going to hold you accountable, but somebody who's going to be there to guide you, I suppose. Very different to a coach. And I would say it's also about finding somebody that you think that you could learn from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just ask.
And what would be some tips for people who get asked who've never done it before?
Ask to be a mentor
So yeah, if someone asked them like, can you be my mentor, what are some good tips for them?
I think you have to understand the concept of it, and I think you have to understand the perimeters of it and what is expected and what isn't expected. So I would say when I first started doing it, I actually went on a course.
Right.
So there are courses out there. I think it's important to understand the basics of what it is.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate your time and sharing more than probably most would.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.